one nation, one destiny. One people, one nation, one destiny. Yeah. Arrowhead, not golden arrowhead. I don't think you heard. I said arrowhead. Not golden arrowhead. Mama, mama, mama. All the massive you, where are you? Where are you? If your present, represent. If your present, represent. Sing out. From Guyana to Canada, from Italy to Miami, from Boston to Brixton, from Leghorn to London. Hear them arrowhead. I love my golden arrowhead. Keep it in your heart and became it to your part. Arrowhead. I love my golden arrowhead. When I see the flag waving, it's a sight that's so amazing. And I can feel the rhythm blazing. And I can hear the people them saying, arrowhead. I love my golden arrowhead. Children, arrowhead. My golden arrowhead. When I smell the corn baking, and I can hear the shack shaking, cock crow and bird bite bacon, roast up and breakfast bacon. Arrowhead, I love my golden arrowhead. If you feel it in your heart, and it came into your part. Arrowhead, I love my golden arrowhead. When I see this fat pouring, feel my spirit soaring, and I can hear the crowd roaring. In the way that God is arrowhead. I love my golden arrowhead. Chief, are you with me? Another gold and diamonds part. Time is hard, we must work hard. Time is abroad, from back home, from my sea, what's really going on? Don't believe all the things they tell you. You gotta light up them up, arrowhead. I love my golden arrowhead. If you feel it in your heart, and it came into your part. Arrowhead. I love my golden arrowhead. Some people feel and they want it. That money and power they flaunt it. But we say no, not giving up. We're gonna fight till the very last shot. Don't believe all the things they tell you. They gotta light up them up there. Arrowhead. I love my golden arrowhead. Gee, are you with me? Arrowhead. I love my golden arrowhead. From the land of many waters, come a people of different cultures. African, Indian, American, Chinese, Portuguese, coming together in harmony. One people, one mission, one destiny. Jamaica, Andeja, Trinidadian, Grenadian. One day if you love your country, love mine. Like an air, when you're behind. I love my golden arrowhead. Feel it in your heart, the body really fly. Arrowhead, really flag. I love my Indian, really flag. It's march time from Lillian to Montreal, from Manipur to Toronto, from Linden to Brooklyn, from Covivaton to Boston, from Georgetown to Georgia. I love it, I love it.
If I think about the ways you make me smile, I'd be sitting here and smiling for a while. Although I know I make you cry sometimes, your happiness is ever on my mind. I cannot repay for everything you've done, but my love for you burns brighter than the sun. No matter where my feet and mind may go, my heart will lead to you and you alone. Guyana, Guyana, I'll be holding on to you forevermore. Guyana, Guyana, may the blessings of God never leave your shore. A paradise so wondrous to behold, a work of art, your heart is gleaming gold. They sail the waters, soar above the trees, to find the gem between the mountain and sea. Your children know we try, though we may fall. We stand united now to heed your call. Our fathers fought the fights for liberty. Forever I'll defend Guyana free. Guyana, Guyana, I'll be holding on to you forevermore. Guyana, Guyana, may the blessings of God never leave your shore. Guyana, Guyana, I'll be holding on to you forevermore. Guyana, Guyana, may the blessings of God never leave your shore. Rise up for your land. Rise up,
we are a peaceful people, struggling we struggle, and we don't look for trouble, just ask around. But when outside faces, from foreign places, talk about taking over, we ain't backing down. No, we ain't giving up no mountain, and we ain't giving up no tree, we ain't giving up no river, that belong to we. This land is our land now. We're gonna make it somehow. We will bend like a bow, but never break. Our fathers came here, and they lived and died here, and we are moving from here. Make no mistake. No, we ain't giving up no mountain. We ain't giving up no tree. We ain't giving up no river that belong to we. Not one blue sake, not one rice grain, not one chorus, not a blade of grass. We love the open country of the Rupanuni and the Essequibo, daytime or night. Though we criticize it, this is our home, we love it, and we mean to keep it. We have that right. Though we ain't giving up no mountain, we ain't giving up no tree, we ain't giving up no river that belong to we. Not one blue sake, not one rice grain, not one chorus, not a blade of grass, not one golden apple, not one jamun.
Deputy Chief Education Officers, Director of NSERD, Assistant Chief Education Officer Secondary, other senior officers of the Ministry of Education, members of the organizing committee, very special invitees, students, members of the media, pleasant good afternoon. It is a pleasure to have you all this afternoon here to witness the launch of the Ministry of Education's National Secondary Schools Track and Field Championships 2025. You will be hearing much more about this special activity as the presenters come to the podium to give you their bit as the program rolls on. I am Marty De Souza, Deputy Chief Education Officer with responsibility for Amerindian and Hinterland Education Development. Happy to be your host today. And to start things off, I would invite us all to stand as the steel pan give us an interlude of the national anthem. So we'll start with the national anthem. Thank you. You remain standing as we recite the universal prayer. Make yourself reverent, please. Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls, where words come out from the depth of truth, where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sand of dead habit, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever-winding thought and action, into that heaven of freedom. My Father, let my country awake. You may have your seat. I must say thanks very much to the St. Stanislaus College Steel Pan Orchestra, It's a fairly new band, and I must say congratulations to all those who work with them. I think this is their second appearance on such a stage. As we get into the program today, I'm going to introduce an individual who will give us some welcome remarks. He is no stranger to the sports arena. In fact, he is integral to the whole process of athletics. He brings a wealth of experience. He has been doing this for a number of years. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me to welcome the head teacher of Port Moran Secondary to give us welcome remarks, Dr. Mark Light.
Master of Ceremony, esteemed members of the head table, distinguished guests, school administrators, coaches, athletes, parents, and enthusiastic supporters of sports. A pleasant good afternoon and warm welcome to the launch of the National Secondary School Track and Field Championship 2025. Today we gather at this wonderful location, not just to celebrate competition, but to reaffirm our commitment to youth development, sports, and the holistic growth of our students. These championships that we now prepare to welcome in a few weeks' time are they are extremely important to the development of our students, our athletes, and to sports in general. Today, as we prepare to welcome our youths and sports enthusiasts from all across Guyana, we know that athletes are going to come prepared to do their best. Let me remind us that sports plays a very important role in shaping character, fostering teamwork, and instilling values in our learners. I want to say also, it is a uniting force that brings people together from all walks of life. And so this afternoon, as we prepare to witness and be encouraged as to what our championship would look like, I want to take this opportunity on behalf of the management committee to welcome you to this launch of the Secondary School Championship 2025. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Light. And just to echo his words, indeed, we are creating well-rounded individuals, and athletics, sports in particular, play a major role in the shaping of our young people today. And as we speak about shaping our young people, I would ask our technical team to get the presentation ready, because we will be seeing some clips of some very special persons whilst they tell us a little bit more about their experiences over the year, where they've come from, and where we want them. We hope that we'll see them heading someday very soon. And so we have a special feature today. I'm first going to introduce, well, we have two special persons who we will be featuring. And I first want to introduce to you our male contender. Again, I think we will be seeing him at this year's competition. And so our first special feature is 19 years old. He's a first-year mechanical agricultural machinery student at GTI, who competes in the 200 and 400 meters, which is his main races. He has represented Guyana at the International Guyana Games, at the Inter-Guyana Games, where he claimed gold medals in his 400 meters and 4x400 meter relay. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in a loud round of applause as we welcome Mr. Afi Blair to the podium.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm glad to be here. Very privileged to be here this afternoon speaking in front of you all. Thank you. Thank you. There were a lot of trials along the way of the 2023 championships for me, mainly because I had just came up the ITT game with a minor hamstring injury which had developed into something a bit bigger. But nevertheless, I set forth and set a goal for myself that I would have to go out there and still do my best because I was already selected. And once you are selected, you have people depending on you to do certain things and there's no going back. So I had to put my best foot forward despite having that injury, and I went out on the track knowing that my teammates and my district was counting on me to, medal in these events. So I gave my best in the events which I medaled bronze in the 200 meters, and me and my team, we won gold in the 4x4 and bronze also in the 4x100 meters. There were a lot of memorable moments for me in the 2023 championships, mainly because, boys will be boys, and we had our share of fun in the dorms and across. But one memorable moment that stood out to me was winning that 4x4 race, because we know we weren't the strongest team on that track, but we knew that once we came together and stood as one, we were going out there with a goal set that we had to bring back this gold medal for district, because we know district 10 were the favorites for a while now, years coming, and we tried our best, to overthrow them, but it wasn't successful. But we still went out there, we still won our medals for district, came back with a gold medal, came close to breaking the previous 4x4 medal that was set by previous marathon athletes. And this year I'm looking forward to having a successful campaign once again at the 2025 National Championships. I'm setting out to break a couple of records myself. I know it won't be easy, it's easier said than done. Everybody knows this, but with God, anything is possible, and with the help of my coaches and my fellow teammates, I know I will do well, and I will continue to be successful in athletics and in everything I do. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Afi, and we do wish you all the best in this year's showing. Next, our next special feature is a 17-year-old athlete out of Chase Academy. She competes in the 400 meters and the 4x4 mixed relay with a strong background in the 200-meter race. She's a reigning Carifta under 17 and under 20 400-meter champion, as well as a Youth Commonwealth Games 400-meter champion. She is one of the very few athletes in the Caribbean to sign a name, image, and likeness deal with Adidas. Is considered one of the top 400-meter prospects in the world and will be heading to the University of Georgia on a full scholarship upon completing her CSEC examinations at Chases this year. She is Guyana's Golden Girl. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Miss Tiana Springer.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tiana Springer. I'm 17 years old and I attend Chase Academy Foundation. And today I'll be sharing with you my experience from 2023 National School Championship. That year, after competing in 5 international championships and being successful, I decided to end the year off with a bang by take part in at the national school championships and going after the records in 100 meter, 200, 400, and 800. With that goal in mind, my coach, Mark Scott, he trained me towards it. He would give me motivational words and prepare me for that competition. For me, it was a fun experience. My teammates and I had a good vibe at the nationals back in the dorms. My most memorable experience, I'd say, in the 400 meters and also in the relay, because it was a battle between district number 4 and our district, district 11. And I just wanted to give the crowd the showdown they wanted. So by our teammates were cheering our names, and the crowd was just chanting, and it gave me that thrilling feeling to perform at my best. So participating at the National School Championship, it opened doors for me because people got to see my full potential, what I could do. It helped. People picked me to represent Guyana, and I did in a lot of international meets. I got gold in the Curved Games, and 2023 and 2024, and I'm planning on going back there to go there and get a third gold medal for my country. I set a couple of records. I'm planning to set another one at Crafted this year. So my coach, I trust in him to coach me at my best, to help me be in the best physical way for this Crafted Games. So I'll focus on the other international meets which I have throughout this year after I done accomplish my main goal at Curricula this year. Thank you.
Thank you, Tiana. And I'm certain we can do better for them. Please put our hands together once more for our 2 champion athletes, Afi and Tiana. We will now turn our attention again to the St. Stanislaus College Steel Pan Orchestra, who will be entertaining us with a musical interlude. Let's give it up for our Steel Pan Orchestra, St. Stanislaus College. Thank you so much. As we move down with our program, to address us would be our next speaker. Our next speaker is quickly becoming our chief organizer for national events of the Ministry of Education. He has recently pulled off a major activity, that is the Mashramani competitions for the Ministry of Education. He is our Deputy Chief Education Officer Technical. Please help me welcome Dr. Ritish Tolaram.
All right, thank you so much to our chairperson for this afternoon's event, our very own Mr. Marty De Souza, our Deputy Chief Education Officer with responsibility for hinterland education. Can we put our hands together and give him a round of applause, please? Chair, kindly permit me to recognize in absentia the Honorable Minister of Education. And for those of us having a program, you will see that the Honorable Minister of Education was slated there to address us at this very important activity. Unfortunately, she could not have been here today. Nevertheless, she sends her greetings to all of us at this very important launch. I want to recognize as well the Deputy Chief Education Officer with responsibility for administration at the Ministry of Education, Ms. Harvey. I recognize as well the Deputy Chief Education Officer, Mr. Hardat, the head of the Allied Arts Unit, Mr. Fraser. I recognize our Assistant Chief Education Officer with responsibility for secondary, Mr. Blackman. All the officers of the Unit of Allied Arts, of course, our host here, the Director for RENSOR, our very own Ms. Omar Ramdin, all other officers of the Ministry of Education, special invitees, our students participating from various schools, teachers, and very importantly, I think it will be remiss of me if we don't put our hands together and give these wonderful students from the St. Stanislaus College a huge round of applause. And at this point, I want to recognize Mr. Gonzalez, Joel Gonzalez, who is at the Allied Arts Unit, leading in this aspect. And so I want to recognize your efforts in ensuring that our students, they were well coached and mentored to ensure that they're here this afternoon to celebrate with us. On top of that, I want to recognize Joel as well too, for coaching our very own Guyanese athletes representing us, for taking them through the pace in formalizing their reflections. And I think we should give them a huge round of applause as well. And this is what we are promoting. Our students, our athletes across the length and breadth of this country. And so today, as we launch a highly anticipated activity enshrined in the ministry's calendar, which is the launch of the National Secondary Schools Track and Field Championship 2025. This officially signals or gives the indication that the Ministry of Education is on the way forward in realizing yet another thrilling, magnificent, trailblazing event that will be in region number 3. And so I want to put a couple of things to us this afternoon so that we can understand exactly what is happening. First of all, we recognize that the nationals, it will be done normally in the month of November. And so we recognize a lot of persons reaching out asking us, but why? Are we not going to have a nationals this year? And we said, yes, we're going to have a nationals, but we're not going to have it this year. And so the whole intention or drive behind why not November of the preceding year is because of the Ministry of Education in its planning wants to ensure that our athletes, the students who are participating in these activities across the various regions, we want to ensure that they are given a platform so that they can scaffold in that career projection. As a result of that, persons competing at the nationals in November of that year, we would have recognized as well that they're not channeled accordingly to ensure that they benefit from the regional games or the international games. And so the whole remodeling or the repositioning of the nationals sits directly on our athletes benefiting significantly in the Carifta Games. And we know that, and we have learned, or we heard from two of our very own, we know that those games will be off in April of this year. And so the nationals, in this sense, will project our students so that they can compete equally at these events. And so this ties in as well for those of us who will pay keen attention to the Honorable Minister of Education. It ties into the 5 priority areas of the Ministry of Education. The Honorable Minister, in her many deliberations, over and over, would have indicated to all of us that we want to ensure that every single child that exit the secondary school system can do so with basically or basic attributes in these areas. 1, acquiring a skill certificate, and that is a TVET program. 2, to get themselves involved in sports, at least acquiring the basic skills and competencies relating to one sport. Learning one foreign language, playing one musical instrument, and of course, having a strong sense of volunteerism. So this sits, as I said, perfectly with our students, or giving them the opportunity to ensure that they can scaffold themselves in becoming that international athlete or athletes representing this beautiful country of Guyana. And so we know over the years as well, this is an event that is centered directly from the Ministry of Education, but of course we would have worked closely over those years with the Guyana Teachers Union, in collaboration with the Guyana Teachers Union, in realizing these events at a central level. And so this year, if you notice early in the program, we had Dr. Light, one of our very own stalwart and veteran as well in this business of sports. He is here with us to provide that support and guidance, given his experience in this domain or in this field. And so the Ministry of Education centrally will be taking the responsibility of realizing the nationals for 2025. Of course, we will continue to work with our key partners, key players, stakeholders, so that we can realize another successful event. Further to all of this, we know that over the years, the Ministry of Education would have worked with key sponsors in ensuring that we can have a successful nationals. And so this year, again, we have with us on board the Banks DIH, providing full support to all our teachers and all the key players in this event so that we can realize another successful nationals at the synthetic track at region number 3. Of course, we have other key players and sponsors that would have indicated their intention that they will come on board. And of course, we await that strong support from them, because as you know, to run off an event of this nature, it requires significant financing. And noting too as well, the Ministry of Education taking on the lead role in this event, it requires a lot of intervention coming from key persons. And so the call here is to ensure that the Ministry of Education will continue to work closely, to work collaboratively, to ensure that we foster partnerships and networking so that we can realize our activities, our calendar of activities in a very systematic order, ultimately to benefit the students of this beautiful country of ours. And so the dates of these events, I don't know if you would have seen them already, but the dates of these events, they are as follows: from the 11th of March to the 13th of March at the Lenora Synthetic Track. So we're going back in region number 3, and we're going to have all our events at the synthetic track in region number 3. Of course, on the ministry's end, we have already commenced the process of ensuring all logistics are in place. So we are working closely, and I want to recognize all our key partners and players, as I've mentioned: the Guyana Police Force, the Guyana Fire Service, the GWI, the Red Cross, and all the other key agencies that are on board with us in ensuring that we can have another successful event. As we speak, we have what we call the local organizing committee in region number 3, and that committee constitutes persons from the region, the regional education officer. You have officers of the region, of the Department of Education. You have key players from those agencies: the fire service, the police service, the GWI, and all other important service providers. They are on the ground to ensure that our students participating in these games, we are ensuring their safety and their comfort. And on that note, the schools in region number 3, we have already identified all the schools. I think this year we are having a number there about close to 2,000 athletes. Given the nature of the events, we are having almost 2,000 athletes participating in these games. As you are aware as well, we have completed all our regionals, meaning that each region, they would have completed their events. And those information, the first, second, and the third place winners in the various categories, those information, they were all submitted to the Unit of Allied Arts. At the Unit of Allied Arts, we have what we call a secretariat. And that secretariat, we have about 16 persons. Again, these are people who would have worked nationals and who possess the comprehensive understanding of what are the requirements of nationals. And so they're working to ensure that we can compile all the information that we have received thus far, ensuring that we have the identification of our athletes, identification of our officials, ensuring the booklets. For those of us who would have gone to nationals before, there is a booklet that will be issued to every team and coach, so you can follow on a day-by-day basis the events, the time, and the persons participating. And so that committee would have commenced operation as of yesterday. We have approximately 2 weeks thereabout remaining, and then all roads will lead us to region number 3 at the Lenora Synthetic Track. I want to recognize as well, I just noticed a committee member for the Nationals, as well as the Secretary of the Athletics Association of Guyana. And I want to say as well the Ministry of Education. We work very closely with the Athletics Association in ensuring that the regulations and the rules that governs the games, we are following them very closely. And so on that note, the Ministry of Education is very happy to have this launch today. And as we speak, the event happening presently, it's live, so it means that every single person across the length and breadth of this country accessing internet connectivity and having a device, they can view, they can hear, and they can understand what we are saying. And on that note, I want to recognize as well the personnel from the Guyana Learning Channel for ensuring that we are having this live coverage. I want to recognize our hardworking PR team as well, Ms. Henry, Ms. Anara, Shakil, and all the others for ensuring that we are all set and ready so that the Guyanese people can hear us loudly as we roll out this launching of the Nationals, and of course as we set all systems in place leading to the Nationals on the 11th of March and concluding on the 13th of March. And so on behalf of the Minister of Education, Ministry of Education, it gives me great pleasure to now declare this Nationals 2025, the launching of this event, official. I thank you very much and God bless us all.
Thank you, Dr. Tularam. And so there we've had it. I think a very comprehensive overview of this new format of Nationals for 2025. A little bit different to what we're accustomed to, but we've had an explanation as to why we're doing this. And I know there will be a question and answer session just after. So if the media has more questions, they can always field those as soon as we finish here. So we're about to wrap our program for today. And we will now hear from an individual who I mentioned earlier, actually, that Dr. Tularam happens to be our new chief organizer of national events for the Ministry of Education. But Dr. Tularam is the one who works behind the scenes, who says what to do, and it gets done. And it gets done by this individual who is the head of the Unit of Allied Arts. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mr. Nicholas Fraser.
Thank you very much. And I'll be saying those words a number of times from now on. This is one event that I've come to where we have 4 DCUs present. So I'd like to thank them for their time. And that also shows us how important this event is to the Ministry of Education. To the Secretary of the Athletics Association, thank you for your presence and your support. All of the members of the Management Committee, Regional Education Departments, the sports committees of those departments, and the sport reps who have been working quite a lot over the period to ensure that all of the inter-house and inter-school competitions were done in a proper manner. The head teachers, the principals, the PE and sport teachers, and of course, we heard from 2 of our athletes. To all of those thousands of student athletes who would have taken part in these events leading up to the premier school championships in the country, the National Schools Athletics Championships. Again, to our main sponsor, Bank CH, who has indicated that they're on board this year. Thank you very much for your long-standing support to the media. And specifically to this program, I'd like to give a special thank you to Ms. Oma Ramdin and her staff here at the NSERD for her support, and she has always been very, very supportive of our activities. So I'd like to give a very special thank you to Ms. Ramdin. The Guyana Learning Channel, of course, they're here helping us to ensure that the word gets out there, and that's very important because these championships are hinged importantly on the support that we get from the spectators, from the teachers, from the parents, persons who will need to go out of their way to ensure that these championships are successful. So it's very important the job that the Learning Channel is doing today. To our Master of Ceremonies, Mr. D'Souza. He has been a long-standing Master of Ceremonies for a lot of our events. Just recently, he was MC at the Children's Road Parade, doing a very, very good job. Thank you very much, Marty. To Dr. Mark Light, thank you for your welcome. While he reminded us of the benefits that sport has to schools and to school children, thank you very much for your warm welcome. The 2 students that I mentioned earlier, Afi Blair, reminded us of the benefits and the reasons for sports, and also spoke very highly about teamwork. Working as a team to make sure that your classmates, your fellow athletes were also successful. And that's something you really don't learn anywhere else as easily as you learn it in sport. Tatiana Springer, or 1248. You know, you can only do 3 events, right? All right. 1248 champion. I think that your presentation was very, very good. It was. I'm thanking you for it now because I think that you can be, and you are, a very good role model to other persons who are also here in this room. And your focus is what I think would be your most telling attribute. And we too at the Ministry of Education recognize that athletes are focused. And the question is, what are you focused on? And we noted from your presentation that your focus is on Carifta Games. So we will try our best to ensure that you have the best preparation to represent this country. So thank you. To the St. Stanislaus Steel Band. This steel band was a part of a presentation from the Ministry of Culture. We've been getting lots of calls over the last year from St. Stanislaus to get a steel band for them. At the time, the Unit of Allied Arts did not have a steel band in our possession, and so we negotiated with the Ministry of Culture, and we were able to get a steel band donated to St. Stanislaus, and they immediately took part in Christmas Explosion last year. So this is the second event that this St. Stanislaus Steel Band is taking part in, and I'd like to thank you for your courage and for the talents that you're showing. Lastly, and certainly not least, to Dr. Tularam, for the explanation that he has given to the remodeling of nationals and the alignment that this has to the ministry's priorities. Obviously, there will be a lot more persons who've worked behind the scenes to make sure that this event today was well done, well run. And I'd like to give a special thank you to all of you, because if I were to list all the names, I would be here all afternoon. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Nicholas. And that has brought us to the end. But before we leave, we have question and answer sessions in case there are any questions from the media. And so I'd like to invite our PR, Ms. Anara, to kindly take this session so that she can facilitate your questions.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. All protocols observed. I am Anara Khan, Senior Public Relations Officer at the Ministry of Education. Now, Dr. Tolaram would have told you our aim for this year's nationals, as well as Mr. Nicholas. If there are any members of the media who have any questions, feel free to ask them now. Please state your name and which media house you're asking.
Akim Green, Newsroom. Just a couple of questions. I just asked all of them one time. One, what is the new arrangement now for primary school students, given that this event now is just for secondary schools? Also, what happens now to swimming and cycling, as given that those two were part of the previous championships as well? Just two, sorry, not three.
Hey. All right, thank you so much for those two questions from Newsroom. So let me start with the latter question, cycling, why cycling and swimming? And so just to provide further clarity, as I would have indicated earlier in that brief presentation, we recognize that the events that our students or athletes are expected to participate in at the Carifta Games, those are the events that we are focusing the nationals on. As a result, we have not seen cycling and swimming reflective at the nationals for 2025. However, the Ministry of Education remains committed to ensure that we will not throw these two events out of the window. We will continue to ensure at the regional level our students are exposed to these events so that ultimately they can use them now to become that national athlete, regionally or internationally. So the reason why you're not seeing it is because of we want to reflect the model as is in the Carifta Games, hence those events. Now, primary school, as we know, they will compete up to the regional level, right? So we'll have our primary school students competing all the way to the regionals, and that's the cutoff in this regard.
Travis, NCN Sport. In terms of the organization of the event, I noted management committees in place this year. The arrangement with the Ghana Teachers Union, has that arrangement been completely done away with? Was the new arrangement in terms of teachers and adequate persons to ensure that the youths or youngsters are properly supervised for this period?
Right, thank you. So as I said earlier too, the Ministry of Education will continue to take on the lead role in ensuring the realization of the nationals. I mentioned as well too, adopting the new methodology. Everything is centralized in that regard. However, the ministry's position is that we will continue to work with the experience of persons from the union. As was mentioned, Dr. Light, you have Mr. Cambridge, you have Ms. Samantha Allen, you have key persons that would have worked over the years who are part of the union that still plays a critical role in ensuring the smooth realization of the nationals. At the regional level as well, we have persons who are performing the roles as regional coordinators, and they themselves are part of this organization. So we will continue to work with them. Once they would have indicated to us an interest that they're ready to work, then we have no difficulties with that. Or the Ministry of Education has no difficulty in working with those key players. But I want for us to understand, ultimately, the responsibility lies in the execution of the Ministry of Education moving forward.
Are there any more questions from members of the media? If that is it, thank you all for coming, and I hope to see you all at our opening in 2 weeks on the 11th of March. Have a good afternoon.
Okay, good, all right. Yes, sir.